Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily. Des here, who's ready to wake up to walk, who's ready to really attack the day. Definitely in the mood for that this morning. As you can see at the moment, I'm down by the River Trent, one of my favourite locations at any time of the day, but particularly at this time. It's a little bit quieter than normal, makes it feel a bit more exclusive. Not that it's not here for everybody to share, of course. I'm always encouraging inclusive activity and the chance for people to get involved. And that's the reason today I've taken a break from following the Robin Hood Way through Nottinghamshire, from Nottingham Castle up to Sherwood Forest. Been charting my progress over the last 5 or 6 weeks, trying to pick out points of interest and make the point of why I do it and what benefits I get from doing such things. But today, to round off a week of activities through Do Running, I decided to plan a walk with friends, invite people to join me. So at 6:30 this morning, I met up with a group outside the Old Market Square in Nottingham city centre, and we went off for a really pleasant stroll. Do you know, we took in some of the city centre as well as trying to connect with nature. The theme for the mental health awareness project this week, we got up into the Arboretum and really enjoyed the peace and quiet up there, as well as the city waking up and the hustle and bustle towards the end. But it was just great to be amongst friendly faces, people enjoying what I enjoy every week. Do you know, I'll get back to the Robin Hood Way next week, looking forward to that. But for today, it was just nice to see other people doing exactly the same thing. Do you know, got a chance to have a chat, catch up, do you know, and these things are so important, aren't they? Whilst they encourage activity and doing whatever you can, and I appreciate that, sometimes people enjoy the fact that they get to do it alone. I've already touched on the fact it's fantastic this morning because it's fantastic in this spot because it's quiet. Do you know, it's also great when you can do things together. Do you know, and with it being Mental Health Awareness Week and trying to sort of keep the message strong, I think it's important when people do that together, the message is kind of a bit clearer, isn't it? And when we're feeling a bit better about ourselves, when we're on top of mental health, we tend to have a lot more connection, you know, a lot more communication and a bit more interactive with everything that's going on around us. So that's kind of why I'm here, why I'm doing what I'm doing today. But as ever, do you know, it's absolutely fantastic. Despite the fact it's quiet, there's people about doing their activity, and when you get up and see that, do you know, it's just inspiring. Being with the guys this morning, of course, I mention every week, I'm tired. I have to sort of fight some weeks to get out of bed, and it's not particularly warm today. It's probably the first week in about 5 or 6 it's not been sunny on a Friday morning. So knowing that I'm meeting people, adding that accountability, just got me out there. And when you see others doing things, do you know, when you see others making the most of what they can, do you know, it just helps again, just to sort of encourage and inspire you to get out there and reaping those benefits too. And there's lots of benefits, isn't there, from doing such things. Do you know, I've already sort of woke up. Do you know, I've got another busy day ahead. I've got 1 or 2 sort of things to do, but I already feel like I'm winning at Friday, and that's fantastic, isn't it? When there's been so much going on around us over the last year, do you know, things are starting to look a lot more positive, but there's 1 or 2 hints that it might not be so. Do you know, we've just got to keep doing what's worked. On Thursday Thoughts last night, I spoke about how my mental health has really changed throughout the pandemic, and now I feel a lot more resilient and a lot stronger for what I do. That's because I put real focus into it. I had time to spend on myself, to look at what I do, to learn new things, take different activities on board, you know, and it's made such a difference to my outlook. Getting up on a Friday is just one of those. It's made such a difference to my outlook. By the time I get to the things that I need to do, I'm already feeling like I'm a real part of the day. Do you know, today even more so, by sort of having that company, by having people to talk to and to communicate with. One thing I've always noticed, one thing I used to notice when my mental health weren't so good, is it was quite often difficult to communicate with people. It was quite you kind of lose your communication skills a little bit if you've not interacted as much. And when we're not feeling great, we all distance ourselves probably as much as we can, too much. But and then when you get back, sorry, I lost my train of thought. When we get back to talking to people and in social circles, we find it difficult to interact. We find it difficult to start up conversation. So today is just a fantastic example of sort of getting that going straight away, getting that conversation going. Do you know, other people, I hope, will go home and feel good about what they've done. They'll feel fantastic about getting out and getting up early, feeling part of a group. And it's only going to help going forward, isn't it? At a time when we've had to keep our distance, do you know, lost some of those communication skills, lost some of that personal feeling, it just helps in sort of building up that spirit again, building up that togetherness about tackling the situation and whatever's thrown at us going forward. The one thing through all this is, through the whole pandemic, is we've lost that connection, you know, and we've got to do whatever we can. And there's nothing better than getting out there with people, arranging meetings, whether it's in slightly smaller groups, when they're large groups, when everybody's in a good mood. That's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? You take that with you take that into the rest of the day, you take it into the rest of the week, do you know, and just into the rest of your life sometimes. You know, people make us happy, people make us give us purpose and intent to keep doing things, keep doing the things we enjoy. Having running groups and activity groups over the last few years, I understand how much people get so much from it. Do you know, you start out doing these things and it's just kind of a thing you do. It's just I'll go running because I want to, but quickly it becomes about the others, you know. And I like to think that for myself, it's not about me, it's about absolutely everyone. So when you see them taking something, you know, it gives you immense satisfaction. And that's definitely what I've taken from this morning, you know, real satisfaction in creating a little bit of a get together. You know, we had a good walk, we had a coffee, we had a chat, you know, and everybody's gone in their separate ways now to really attack the day. I was saying to them, sort of mid-morning, later in the day, start feeling great about what you've done. Whilst it can feel a bit of a strain first thing, getting up early and getting out the door, you know, it really starts to kick in later on. Those good feelings, that good spirit starts to build. I hope it will create further conversation and the chance for people to communicate, you know. And then even later than that, it really helps with things like sleep. And of course, getting up early means you reset that body clock, taking in some of that blue light and vitamin D, you know, to help us in the physical health side of things, you know. And most importantly, well, not most importantly, but very importantly, sleeping this evening. And that's one of the reasons why I really like to attack the day on a Friday, you know, to get me into a good routine. Historically, I've been one for staying up late at the weekend, you know, and probably sleeping in, you know, and not making the most of that spare time. Now, by getting up early on a Friday, whilst it's a struggle at times, what I tend to do is get to bed at a reasonable time, and then I'm back on it Saturday morning. Normally do activity on a Saturday morning, so that's a real great start to the weekend, isn't it? Those that do park run and activities like that will know all about this. You know, having done that, straight away you feel like you've achieved something. All I'm doing is almost bringing my park run situation a day forward and giving myself that extra bit of feel good, you know, to go into the weekend feeling absolutely awesome and fantastic about what I'm doing. And looking back at the week, of course, DOdaily's been heavy this week on mental health awareness, but I make no apologies for that. Do you know, whilst I try and do it in a way that's not preachy or too full on and going to make anybody feel uncomfortable, do you know, it's important to keep passing on that message, isn't it? Do you know, I've heard a lot. I heard it just before I started filming, to be honest, on the radio, that we need to talk about mental health all the time, and people being a bit sort of negative in that sense. Well, we do talk about mental health all the time, but people are put off by that fact. So what we need to be more embracing is when there is an awareness week, you know, we just keep sort of plugging away at it, keep opening up, keep realizing that it's nothing to be afraid of. You know, if we did say mental health is for every day, which it is, you know, I said it myself yesterday, you know, if we just sort of assume that, then it would almost get lost again, wouldn't it? Everything that's important needs a little bit of awareness from time to time. We need a refresh, because we all get a little bit complacent. We all sort of get bogged down in everyday life, get sort of carried away with things going on around us, other people, other activities. So it's just important periodically to check in and say, this is what we need. I like to do that daily, of course, through DOdaily, but if others who are not so sort of out there in passing on their thoughts, you know, need that little gentle reminder, then that's absolutely what we need to do, isn't it? So what I'm basically saying is, don't discredit the week. It's so important to keep passing on this message that it's okay not to be okay. Do you know, I said yesterday, we live this kind of roller coaster of emotions, and probably in my mind we're all on a scale. Do you know, it's not something I want to label us with, that we're on a scale, but we absolutely are, aren't we? It's mental health is a thing that, sorry, I got fly in my eye. Mental health is a thing that doesn't just turn itself on and off. From one day to another, we feel a range of emotions. Even during the day, we feel a range of different emotions, and things happen that upset us, things happen that make us happy. And you know, when that happens a lot, it can confuse us a little bit as well. We're only human after all, as Rag and Bone Man said. I mentioned he's one of my favourites this week, somebody I've really checked in with again. So it's just about finding those things that we need to use to keep us on top of things. For me, you know, getting out down here, like I said, at any point of the day, absolutely love it. You know, if I need a few minutes to get out, you know, I'll get down here, stick Rag and Bone Man in the headphones, you know, and get a bit of a walk in. So if you can do something similar, if you're not feeling fantastic, you know, look to get out there. If you can get out for a short walk, get up early, you know, try something that little bit different. I think that's the key message in all of this, is trying whatever might work for you, you know, because sometimes you just stumble across something you love. It's what I did with running, with walking, with all the things I do these days. I just stumbled across it, but now I've made it part of my routine, part of my toolbox, something I have to do day in, day out. And when I can do certain things, if other things don't quite go so well, you know, I won't say it doesn't matter, because of course it matters. That's what I'm saying about being up and down, but it helps, you know, sort of refocus, get back on track, and really start making the most wherever I can. So for today, guys, that's all I've got to say. You know, of course, sorry, I'll just go back to the fact it has been a heavy week of mental health, but we've got to keep spreading the word. One sort of final reminder on that, it's important, because if anybody, I'll ask you a rhetorical question. If somebody come up to you and says, I'm not feeling great, how would you respond? And give you a second to think about that, but I know exactly how you would respond. You'd talk to them, you'd take them kind of under your wing, and you'd want to help. And that's what I'm trying to say, is if it was the other way around, I'm sure others would do that for you too. I don't know many people that would completely switch off and ignore someone that went up to them and said, I don't feel great. All we're all looking for in life is a bit of communication, you know, a bit of connectivity to build relationships. And hopefully through getting up this morning and meeting up with the guys, whilst others can get involved and hopefully they will in due course, it's about rebuilding those relationships to take forward post-COVID, post-lockdown, you know, and get that spirit really flowing. When we approach things like that, everybody's mental health improves. And that's why I like to think of Do Running and Do Daily as a community, because if we can instill some good spirit into that community, everybody's benefiting from it. So for today, really looking forward to the weekend. Like I say, I feel like I'm all over it already, whilst I've got plenty to do. You know, that's put me in such a good frame of mind and ready to attack another weekend. Not quite got so much to do as the past couple of weeks, so that's a welcome bonus as well. Perhaps do little bits of work which I've been putting off, but I'm realising now that they've got to be done and I've got to keep attacking things. So until Monday, guys, hopefully you've taken something out of the message we've tried to spread this week, you know, and realised that it's absolutely fine to sort of be aware of where you're at, you know. Please like, share and subscribe the episode if you have. You know, it'd be fantastic if we can keep spreading the word that we're all here to help wherever we possibly can. Just doing it.
I support Mental Health Awareness Week.
I support Mental Health Awareness Week. I support Mental Health Awareness Week.
I support Mental Health Awareness Week.
I support Mental Health Awareness Week.
I support Mental Health Awareness Week.